Hello, fellow humans. In case you didn't notice, I am apparently subliminal. And this is Spelunky Daily Challenge Duels. Today is March 25th, 2020. This is an ongoing series with me and my friend Jacob of Slightly Absurd, challenging one another to see who is best in the Spelunky Daily Challenge. In my last episode, nearly made it all the way through hell when Spelunky taught me something that I did not know about it. And that is that the relative safety that Vlad's amulet will offer you does not, in fact, protect your bombs from the lava men. And if you drop a bomb and it touches a lava man, it will blow up immediately. So in case you didn't see that last video, spoilers, but you can watch me using a bomb which was, at the time, intended to open up the last layer that I needed to outside of Yama's throne. It was certainly a close one. I hope you've all been keeping safe. I know there are many people now, all over the world, who found themselves sequestered at home. I think this is probably to be encouraged, considering the state of affairs currently. We're going on a spending spree today. I do on occasion go in and steal the wares from the shopkeeper, sometimes violently. And as is a recurring theme, I forgot that I had the pitcher's mitt there. Grabbing ourselves the bomb paste. Mr. Beercat. Gonna ascertain if there's any reason to walk into there. I suppose it couldn't hurt. Grabbing that idol. Considering we know that the shop in this level is above it. No chance that we'll be accused of being terrorists by inadvertently or intentionally damaging it in some way. And getting close to the time when the spirit of Dickbutt's gonna show up, so gonna want to be off to the right side of the level when that happens. Grab this idol. Get out of the way of that boulder. This is your first video. The Spirit of Dickbutt may need some explanation, but should no longer, as Dickbutt is the spirit that haunts these eternal caves. Spookily floating, backflipping about. The Spirit of Dickbutt is another sprite provided by Jacob, along with Beercat. Alright, we've got a snake pit. I played a bit earlier in adventure mode. I came to a level. Pitcher's Mitt is going to impede my progress here. It's worth a couple of bombs, I suppose. As I was saying, played earlier, and I had a dark level. Not a big deal. I took just a few steps off to the right of that dark level. Fell immediately into a snake pit. So the game is a bit limited to only notifying you of one of the level feelings, rather than all of them. And so I found my death at the bottom of the snake pit, in the dark, most horrifyingly. Keep reminding myself, unfortunately while recording these videos, that it would be valuable to learn precisely how much these gems are worth. The rubies are most valuable. That is about the limit of my knowledge. I do hear a Beercat. I'm not quite sure where. Alright, 2 parachutes. That's a lot of crates in a single level. Luckily we didn't get a 3rd parachute either. Alright, some spectacles. Grab that emerald. And run away from the Spirit of Dickbutt. I grab a compass, bomb box. Definitely helpful. And then we'll get out of here. Oh, we sacrificed Beercat. I was gonna say, I thought I had carried him in that last level. Use this spider web to our advantage. Relieve us of that arrow from the arrow trap. Oh, a 3rd parachute. A parachute counter. No, sir, I don't like it. It's just one of the strange quirks of the Spelunky engine that we've just witnessed. I can say with some certainty that you're coding a game like this, you will find little quirks like that. Often in situations that you didn't foresee. Jacob and I have done a wee bit of work on our own platformer game, which is the reason that we've got sprites like Mr. Beercat, Space Dude, for use in the game of Spelunky. Just check and see where that spit lands. Okay. It's a shame I didn't have the foresight to grab that scorpion before I blasted him. One quirk of these snakes I've noticed is when they reach the end, they will spit. Even if they had just done it, sort of resets the cooldown timer on their projectile attack. Something to keep in mind if you find yourself navigating these mines. Yeah. Caught myself staring at that shop. I would like to get those spike shoes, but it's a bit late now. And here we are in a terrible dark level. Probably a poor choice to have thrown my torch the way that I did. I was gonna say I know I hear it bad. Also hear my dog ever so often losing her mind. Oh. Well, that was the Matic. The Mattock. So there's always a chance you'll toss Mr. Beercat directly into danger. And do our best to not do that right now. I'd like to put him in a safe space. I think the best bet will be to safe drop him on the Wormtongue. Definitely one of the more handy aspects. The jungle level in the ice caves. It's that Wormtongue. For the rescuing of damsels. Get that idol somewhere where it's easier to retrieve. Hopefully not toss it down onto some spikes down there. This always feels a bit like a horror film. Snapping photos in the darkness to ascertain our safety. And we've got the Spirited Dickbutt showing up very quickly. Just want to check all the corners of the level. Make sure we're not missing the entrance to the black market. Struggling to find my way out of that tree. And I think we're safe here. Now here's a testing opportunity that I haven't taken before. What happens when you flash Mr. Dickbutt? Seems as though he freezes rather than making a pose. Retrieved our point of health from Mr. Beercat in his rude gesture. It's another helpful trick that I learned from Jacob is tossing a rope when a monkey's on your back. Venture, I guess, that the black market is right there. That was correct. I guess it's good that I didn't buy those spike shoes. It seems as though I've already got some. This blue frog gives me anxiety. Which only stomping on his head will relieve. Don't actually think I've heard a beer cat in this level. That was poorly thrown. It's one of my favorite sprites that Jacob did here. It's Boomerang. So it would be a shame to toss myself onto those spikes in an attempt to relieve myself of a single monkey. I think we can safely get Mr. Beercat up there, as long as we avoid that exit. Very nearly put him in. Alright. A little bit of a butthole clenching moment there. I think we're alright. Safely make our way to the black market. That spending spree did leave me with not a lot of resources. Here's a good example of the level feeling being the welcome to black market message, which means that you will not be notified that you're also in a Restless Dead level. So I'd like to get that vampire noticing us in such a way that he is easily removed from this mortal or post-mortal plane. I would like a jetpack. Fortunately, we've already spent our money. I'm not quite sure I can get the amount needed for the jetpack in this level. We are set up with plenty of bombs. Got the Ankh. It might actually be doable. It's Ruby. I'd say that's worth a rope. Just to avoid that spike trap. Got a ruby here and a bit of gold. Very nearly. Ooh. It's lucky that there were no spikes down there. Land on this Yangshi. Still not seeing the valuables required to acquire a jetpack for ourselves. Very nearly. do not want to contend with this vampire anywhere near those spikes. Well, that was most unfortunate. If I die to this vampire in these circumstances, I will be most embarrassed. Now it's a very real possibility. Mistakes were indeed made. My intentions were not realized. Go ahead and get Mr. Dickbutt well out of the way. Would like those gems. But I'm about to trap myself on the side of this tree. Most unfortunate. And we've lost the Ankh. My greed. Well, we're taking the damn jetpack now. There's also a a tiki trap down here that I didn't want to deal with. Well, we've thrown away our hell run. And now wasted much of our money. Suppose we can still potentially best Jacob, depending on how well he does today. I will be taking this shotgun. There's one lesson I have learned from Jacob. It is not to be greedy. And if I haven't learned that from Jacob, Spelunky has certainly reinforced that in my mind. Unfortunately, now put myself in a circumstance where almost requires to be a little bit greedy to come out on top. Ooh. Nearly tiki trapped myself trying to get a little bit extra health off of that tiny frog. I would say that's worth a bomb. Oh, poor Mr. Beercat. What have we done? I left myself with 0 ropes. I think we've got plenty of time to get Mr. Beercat back. Though not the safest route to get him. Especially considering these piranhas will be hot on our heels. And I think it's doable. Try not to be too greedy with our health. End up having to contend with the ghost again. As we have already seen today how that pans out. We are well equipped. There are explosives flying all over this level. It is a bit of a nightmare. We do have the Kapala, so it is in our interest to glean some extra health. Won't be reviving. This may even be worth rising up to this shrine, possibly getting ourselves invigorated. That Yeti seemed like he was ready to toss me into the sky. Do need to keep in mind, I do not have the Ankh. I should not make an attempt to revive myself. Does seem like something I might do. Oh, there's one hell of a Yeti dodge if I do say so myself. I was worried I had thrown that ruby into the abyss below. Although I don't recall precisely where I left that shotgun. I thought it was on the right side there. Oh no, it was right here. Stupid Yeti. Not quite enough time to grab that emerald. Don't really want to give a second of my lives to the spirit of Dick Butt tonight. Alright, got the Moai head. I need to avoid any attempts at reviving myself at all costs. Alright, more bombs. The springs can often be a source of anxiety. You're not expecting them. Particularly if they are hidden behind some snow. Or if your attention is otherwise occupied. We've got some time left. Try to get rid of this guy here. The mammoth. Grab this mine. See if we can't find some gems to put in here. Here's one. Ooh. Nearly dropped my shotgun on my own head. Oh, we've nearly got enough to buy ourselves an Ankh. Yeah, we've got a couple of pots here. Maybe there's some gems inside. Single gold nugget. Not quite what we were looking for. Suppose it's time to move along. I want to get rid of these mammoths off to the right. They do drop valuables, but I'm more concerned about the chance of accidentally flying up into their ice breath. Freezing myself. And plenty of Kali shrines today. And we've got our invigoration. Are there any gems worth mining? I definitely don't want to fall all the way down like that. Keep our distance from this mine. See if we can't relieve this alien of his duties. See, that's a bit of a close call with that Yeti. Not a lot of valuables in this level. One thing to avoid is approaching these loose platforms from below. They will fall on your head. Much like that spider tried to. Let's say we've gleaned about all the valuables from this level that we're going to. Except for that spider. So with that, we'll move along. The 4th of July. So we'll have an alien ship off to the right. I believe that was an alien below us. Another danger to look out for in the ice caves. Particularly with those loose platforms. Is the explosive power of mines and aliens. Very close call with Mr. Beercat there. Here's some explosions. We'll leave our shotgun by the skeleton. Grab this idol. Every bit of valuable counts right now. Because we will not be able to go into the City of Gold. Speaking of valuables, nothing's more valuable than Mr. Beercat. Which is why we will show him our appreciation by dropping an emerald on his head. Nothing says, I find you valuable, like dropping an emerald on the head of your loved ones. Right. Nearly cleared this level. There's a ruby there in the ground. Sure, it's worth a bomb though. Trying to balance out our future plans. Alright. Got a lava nightmare. Did not mean to step on his head. Luckily, I think that lava took care of him. Always curious about the contents of the crate. In this instance, my curiosity was not rewarded. Best practices here. We will be possibly putting ourselves in danger of this tiki trap. To avoid that crush block. Anubis is possibly trapped down there. Guess we'll see how things pan out by going further into the level. Not ideal. Nearly leaving ourselves without bombs. That purple floaty plasma is instant death. Definitely less than ideal circumstances here. And luckily he moves predictably and we can get around him. I think that will be safer. These flying scorpions sound a bit like they are Mongolian throat singers. Would like to avoid that croc man. Ooh. Getting a little excited about going toward that tiki trap. Being a little bit too hasty. It's a bit late in the game to be finding some ropes, but I think every bit helps. It's definitely worth the bomb to get rid of one of those tiki traps. And I think we're going to go ahead and get ourselves out of this temple level. Well, hi there, Mr. Beer Cat. Oh, that was most unfortunate. Slightly miscalculated that bomb. I'm not sure it would have made its way through the tiki trap and taken care of that crush block as well. But I certainly hoped that it would. mummies are absolutely a pain in the groin. It's a bit of a trick you can use there. Push those bodies along, you can kind of tell whether or not there's a tiki trap slightly off the side of the level, because it will shove them back toward you. Really don't want to interact with this gentleman. What are these crush blocks? Sort of an absolute nightmare situation here. Best bet. Get Mr. Beercat out of here. Godspeed. And we will go over. Interesting. Learned something else new about the interactions of crush blocks and hawkmen. Oh, found ourselves telefragged. This is not ideal. Sorry, Mr. Beercat. You just didn't have a chance there. Ooh. Some MLG style gaming there. Definitely intentional, every step of the way. Bit of luck with the scorpion. I'll admit it was a bit of luck with the scorpion. And the crush block. Most of that bottom level, honestly. But here we are in Olmec's lair. Smoosh that Hawkman. Plenty of health. Would have been a pretty decent hell run, I imagine. Alright. Climbing gloves. I think I may regret having grabbed those at some point in this Olmec fight. And also possibly regret having used the last of my bombs to get what could possibly be a parachute. Well, at least it was some bombs. Alright. And now the Olmec fight. The old school way. Using the I'm new to Spelunky, oh dear God, please help me method. Playing it extremely safely. Monkey deserved it. I was happy to see him go. Particularly in the method in which he went. I do not want to stand there. Alright. Quite a few enemy spawns in this Olmec fight. Finding myself a little focused on these constantly streaming enemies. And I think we just exploited Olmec a little there on accident. I thought I saw the enemy spawns jump out of his head there, but may have been mistaken. We've been lucky here in that we've managed to let Olmec crush quite a few times without spawning enemies. Oh, and that's the one. Very close. Alas, we have wasted our parachute. I found frequently that my commentary is a bit ill-fated. Almost ironic. Oh, I hope I don't get crushed right here. And then I get crushed. We're nearly there. To the absolute bottom of the world. Oh, and with that, we are crushed by Olmec. You all saw it. I beat him. Managed to avoid our reward. Oh, 4th place. I assume that will change. Yeah, not much of a high score right now. Presumably those who are ghosting will take a little bit longer. It's currently just an hour after the new level was released. We'll take that number 4, as temporary as it may be, to check back in again later. Previous daily. We did beat Slightly Absurd. Well, with that, if you liked that run, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. I think I liked it. In case you didn't notice, I am apparently subliminal. This has been Spelunky Daily Challenge Duels. Stay safe. Wash your hands and face. Go check out Slightly Absurd. Tell him, heh, 107 there on 3/24/2020. Jacob blew up right outside of Yama's throne. Why don't you blow up right outside of Yama's throne? Get yourself crushed by Olmec. Okay, bye.